in addition to everything I've said, I think it's also wise um, to lay a defense against um, against what I hold to be false claims about um, Christians and sex. I took a class at Ohio University, where I'm going to school at, on sex and gender. And I thought that there were a number of fallacious, um, just blatant um, things that were said in that class. And I think that I think that it should be known that, you know, that that's the way it is. That, you know, that the professor had no right to say some of the stuff that she said about Christians and sex. One of them is this notion that, you know, Christians are against sex because they want to create this bourgeois community where they separate themselves from other people, much like Moses separated the Jews from everybody by having a kosher diet. That, you know, if you relegate your community through certain practices, you will be able to um, you will be able to brainwash them, and you will be able to program them, and you will be able to, you know, have them, you know, pay more money than what they need to you because you have them under your control. Um, you know, I am not necessarily. Christianity is a very, very large religion. And so it's not for me to say that that does not happen. That there are not circles within Christianity where that does happen, where they do use certain practices to relegate their groups to be able to brainwash them. In fact, I have been in such a group where they did do that to me. But I also know from experience that not all groups do that. How do I know that? Because my own my own pastor disagrees with me that Christianity advises us not to have sex. So before marriage. So, you know, while I think it's clearly there, and while, you know, the vast majority of you know, New Testament scholars would agree with me, there there are pastors who disagree with it, and so it's not possible. It's not possible for Christianity uh, as a whole to be doing this, to be doing this brainwashing when there are pastors who don't even agree that it's in the New Testament. Uh, another problem, another argument that I thought was fallacious was that, you know, everyone is that, you know, Christians think that sex is, you know, that they uh, on a slightly, and this is kind of related, that, you know, that we're trying to suppress people by calling God a male. Um, Again, you know, not all Christians believe that God is a male. Christianity is a very, very large religion. It would be, you know, you can't go and just accuse, take what a few people do in a very large group and say that everybody in that group does it. That would be like me saying that humans, all humans, are very, are deeply um, fond of bestiality. That would be a gross, um, that would be a gross statement. Why? Because many humans, in fact, probably the overwhelmingly vast majority of people, are grossed out by bestiality. And in fact, bestiality is a crime in most parts of the world. Uh, I know it is, in the U.S. So, I mean, I don't think that it's right to say that all, you know, don't um, don't make a statement that everybody is, or that even most people are, when it isn't true that most people are X or most people are Y in a certain group, because that's, that's blatant. It's a lie. Um, but the thing is, uh, you know, I don't think that it's necessary to see. And in fact, I think it's unholy to think of God as someone with a gender. Um, now, I think that human. I mean, and really, Genesis lays it out. He created them in His image, male and female. He created them. So He created both genders in His image. God, in His person, being omnipotent, being knowing all things, understands and can sympathize with both roles, both gender roles. But I mean, as far as sexuality is concerned, um, there God does not reproduce Himself. God does not need to reproduce Himself. God is totally satisfied in His three persons. Um, there's no need to make more of Him. Um, he's all there needs to be of Him. Second, okay, and furthermore, uh, yes, while God is referred to in the male, the Holy Spirit is referred to in the female. The Holy Spirit is given a very feminine kind of role. Um, the Greek word pneuma is a feminine, takes a feminine form. It's like a breath. It sustains us, and nurtures us, and keeps us in God's grace. This nurturing kind of aspect is very maternal oriented, and so, while you know these devices, these gender devices, are merely that. They are conventions for or symbols for our understanding of who God is, more than a literal undertaking of God as a man or God as a woman. I think it's ridiculous. Uh, but finally, God does not have, um, it's just ridiculous. You can't sit there and say that Christians are super. You can't put on them the most superstitious ideas and say that they're that, because just simply because they aren't willing to say that they don't believe in a God. Um, that's not how theology works. That's not how the discussion of religion works.